an unhealthy release bearing, but I can't do much about that. Now, I didn't want to go through removing all the gearbox and stuff again on camera because it's all a bit boring, but doing it in two parts is so much easier. Split the transfer case, drop it down, take the main gearbox off, you've got a ramp and a transmission jack. Different world. I found the problem, I found the reason for that noise that you would have seen in the last video. That's the release bearing. This was a genuine part, I'm sure, from sold through LOF. Shouldn't do that. So the noise was obviously the entire bearing spinning on the plastic, which not only sounded horrible, would obviously eventually meant the plastic sleeve would have fallen to pieces. Let me show you what I'm fitting instead, and they don't even compare. Look at the difference in those. That is a billet release bearing from LOF, and it's the only way to go. The amount of effort it takes to swap this, no brainer. The only reason I didn't at the time was because they didn't have any, so I couldn't do much about that. So there we go, we're going to pop that back in, about 80 quid, and then put it all back together, which I'll try and time lapse or something, but it's all pretty straightforward stuff that we've seen before. Then we can get back onto just swapping out the front diff once I've found a front diff. Freewheeling kind of guy like me, then you need freewheeling hubs. This is not a freewheeling hub, this is a hub. This is the dry flange, so this is constant, so whenever these are spinning, we're spinning the diff, which is a bit of a waste of time, isn't it, in these, because they're selectable four-wheel drive. So what we're going to do is change this for a freewheeling hub, which basically means we can disengage this from that, because there's no need for that to turn when we don't really want it to. So on the road, series Land Rovers are always two-wheel drive. So first step is you can leave the wheel on. It's nice, isn't it? We are going to, well, take the dust cap off, and then it's a big nut behind there, and then pull that off, a load of 9/16 head, no, 5/8 head bolts. Then we can clean all this up. Amazing, the old gasket actually looks alright. We have a new gasket. The kit comes, the AVM kit comes with a gasket. So we'll fit that. Basically, fit your freewheeling hubs. But we'll get there. What you do to fit them, split it in half. Keep the gasket. We then fit this section. If you're a late Series 3, you'll be 24 spline in here. If you're an early one, you'll be, so these splines, you'll be 10 spline. As people on the Facebook group reminded me, all the diffs are 10 spline one end, and then you get some at a drive shaft. Yeah, one end as well. So we'll fit that. The kit is quite good. Comes with flange gaskets, fit that back with the original bolts, and then we basically put that on. And then you do these up as well. These are special bolts that fit that to that, and they are only go up to about 3 Newton meters, I think it is. They also come with a new castellated nut, which is very small because the original ones won't fit. There won't be enough room. So let's get those fitted. well, not compressed, there's an O-ring between it and sort of the body of this and the inner around the wheel bearing. There we go, and now we put in the original bolts. I just put 2 in so we located the gasket. And then the torque setting for these is I'm guessing as it's a later Rover, 38 pounds-feet. Early Rover was 28 pounds-feet. And so because it's 24 spline, I guess that's later. I'm not sure what other accessories I can fit to this. I did always want the freewheeling hubs. I didn't actually realise they were quite so cheap, brand new. And I've not seen any complaints about the AVM hubs, so I think they were. I'm sure someone said they were original equipment. Now we have a felt washer, a washer, and this funky new nut. And with this, you just tighten it down until the felt washer is completely compressed. And then there's this sort of natty little thingy, what's it? There's no real way to do it, but then you're not really putting any force behind it. I can either tap it so you can either sort of tap it round with a hammer and die, or we can just do it like this. I'll show you the felt washer in a minute. And we just need to find... Okay, that looks compressed. Now I'm assuming when it says fully compressed, it just means sort of fully squashed. Have a look. And there's definitely a moment where it goes fully tight about there and the felt washer's completely squashed down behind it. And then we have one of these little... Oh, it's quite fun, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, just tight until compressed. So then we slide the gasket back in. And then pop that on. We'll nip up 2 of those and then we'll make sure it works. It says very specifically, do not tighten that up too much. And it really is that easy. He says with that before testing it to see if it worked. The manual's very brief, but I'm hoping that's because it's straightforward, not because the manual's rubbish. Easy as that. So pop all the rest in, 3 Newton meters, which is probably you know, just tighten up a little bit. I think it's because they've got that taper on the hair. They're not going to come undone, are they? So awesome. Rinse and repeat. It's occurred to me I've not actually said why I'm fitting freewheeling hubs. Now they are basically an economy thing, and it also saves wear on the diff because, as standard, a series Land Rover is rear-wheel drive. So the front drive shaft isn't driven normally, unless you tell it to. But as the wheels are turning, they're turning the diff. A freewheeling hub basically disconnects the wheel from the diff, so it's only turned when you select four-wheel drive, which you also then have to select at the freewheeling hub. Now, anyone else sort of impressed there with how quickly I glossed over that horrific noise coming from the diff? Shall we see what terrible thing has befallen me? Oh. Look at the pinion bearing. Oh. Well, it's either the pinion bearing or the universal joint. There's no up and down play. Ugh, but it feels very notchy. Oh! That shouldn't sound like that. What torture will we find inside the diff? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. We know it's not oil because we topped it up last time, didn't we? Where are you going? You're drunk. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Let's see what marvels wait inside the oil. I have a transmission thing. Because I'm a bit of a pro. So, this is an Imperial adjustable spanner, obviously. Because I'm, as I said, a bit of a pro. What colour, shall we play what colour we think it is? Should it be grey? Oh no! I'm making a mess. That's brass. Smells like gear oil. Considering it's not that old. Ugh. Should it be grey? Does grey mean metal? Not ideal. Can you... The transmission stand's great, isn't it? But I could have probably thought this through better. There we go. Yuck. Why is it grey? It's because of all the metal, isn't it? Oh, there we are. I think the damage is actually... There we are. So I think the damage is quite catastrophic. It seems like... the little locking pin thing, when that puts the preload on the bearing, that actual pin, the crown wheel, which I can now move like that, has undone. That's come open. You can see it's bashed against. There, that still feels tight, but there's loads of play side to side in that. And then also, you see this piece of metal here, that should be sort of level with the diff, so that's backed out. And the whole thing is nearly seized up. Ah! The planetary gears seem alright. And actually, I haven't seen any damage on the crown wheel teeth, so it's probably rebuildable. It's just the bearings that have maybe the Don't much me, the bearings are backed off. Actually, look at that as well. That's strange, isn't it? So that should be straight. So I don't really know until that's, but I think that's probably rebuildable. It's probably not a lost cause, is it? And we don't like waste, so yeah, we can probably rebuild that. I'm filming this because I've lost a load of footage, by the way, of actually removing the diff. But it is quite straightforward. What I did was, well, I'll show you. I took the wheel off, and there's 6 bolts to put the entire hub assembly onto the axle. And then I just swung that away, hung it all off a ratchet strap. And if you have the extended brake lines, they're long enough, so you don't even have to bleed the brakes afterwards. Anyway, to the next bit of the video. Which was Rustival! Look at this, and I was even there as a creator this year. At one point, I was even employed by Mr. Hubnut himself as parking attendant. Look at that. What is Rustival? Well, it's a celebration of anything really, from little dump trucks all the way up to Aston Martins and all sorts. Now, we've got a few highlights, I believe. Mr. Cameraman, roll them up. There we are, look at that. This is a CL500, I thought looked very, very nice when they built Mercedes properly. Next. A 110 camper, I'm very jealous. I'd like a, that'd be really nice in the back of mine, wouldn't it? Now, what flavour do you like your Vitara in? Small or big? Now these are cool. These hide away at the back of the Jaguar Daimler Heritage Trust. There's a load of engine cutaways. But there's also this, which is Project Iceberg, is developed with Perkins in Peterborough. And it was basically a diesel Rover V8. And of course, it wouldn't be a visit to Gaydon without seeing Huey, the first pre-production Land Rover. Those spring catches are still the same on my bonnet. There are some funky little features on Series 1, the trafficators, the door top hinge, which isn't on a later car. And then on Series 1s you can still actually lift the door off. It's like a Jeep. And then we have the little Lucas port pie lights, I think that's what they tend to be called. And possibly the coolest thing, chassis number LR1. The British Motor Museum has everything from Le Mans cars to prototypes to lots and lots of lovely Land Rovers. We've got a Cuthbertson with tracks there, some Royal Series vehicles, the Range Stormer, SAS Land Rover, and then even the Judge Dredd 101. This prototype display is cool as well, with the sort of matchbox cars, boxes at the back. And of course we found the TVR. It's the T400 from Le Mans. Now obviously I like my defunct British sports car manufacturers, and this body buck from the Bristol 411 is so cool to see. This is what they would have actually beaten the body panels over to make the cars. And that was Rustival. That was my first show as a creator, which is brilliant fun. Chatting to lots of people from YouTube, from all over the place, meeting Laurie from Laurie's Mechanical Marvels, Ian from Hubnut, and I actually got mistaken for Laurie from LMM as well, which is obviously an honour. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the video. It's something a little bit different for you, and I will see you next time. Oh, like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of thing. Bye.